Hi everybody, welcome to Fashionlinknow educational platform and my Fashionlinknow channel. My name is Anna Vasiljevic and I'm a founder of Fashionlinknow platform and a lecturer. I get a lot of questions about fashion drawing, especially the figure drawing. So I decided today to show you how you can make a simple fashion figure croquis, 9 heads height, and something that even if you're a beginner, I'm sure you will be able to do it. We'll do it step by step, and it will help you with your fashion creations, and you can use it whether it's a technical flat drawing, whether it's a fashion drawing for the fashion collection, so both ways it will be useful. So let's start. Before I get to the drawings, I want to make some, let's say, clearance about the fashion figure. So fashion croquis figure is something that we use for the fashion design process and of course at the end for the fashion collection presentation. So fashion figure drawing is something that every fashion designer is using, and it's a little bit different than realistic figure. What is the difference? First, the proportion is a little bit different. So we are basically with the fashion figure croquis trying to get to the, let's say, famous model proportion coming from the runway or fashion editorial. So we are doing a little bit of idealization of the fashion figure and making it more in a height and more elegant and more dramatic. So the viewer who is not coming from the artistic background or who is not coming to from the fashion background usually would say that these figures are looking a little bit strange, a little bit weird, but for the fashion designers, actually this fashion figure, as much as it's longer or higher, it looks better. So the first thing is the proportion. The proportion of the fashion figure is usually going from 8.5, 9 heads when it comes to the height, up to the, even if you like experimenting, up to the 11. It's not something new that we have this kind of proportion coming up to the 11 figures, especially the fashion illustrators have this freedom to make fashion figures as much as high as they want, but today we will be using a 9 head figure. Before we start with the fashion drawing or fashion figure croquis that we will be doing today, I will mention a couple of things. First of all, we will be doing a little bit of geometric version of this fashion figure croquis, so that everybody, even who never ever tried to do the fashion figure, can do it. And second thing is that, well, my students know that I'm not a fan of the ruler. So I will not be using a ruler, but I will be using this, let's say, piece of paper instead of the ruler to be able to show you how you can get the line of balance in the right way or get directions in straight lines the proper way. So these are a couple of dimensions before we start. Before we start drawing the fashion figure, the most important thing is to put it in a composition of the paper. I noticed that many of the students don't pay attention to this. So before you start drawing the figure, you need to leave some space up and down on the paper. The reason why we are doing this, because we don't want this figure to look like it's going somewhere out of the paper or falling down or getting basically out of the paper. So we want to avoid this. Second thing that, well, is making a trouble to most of the students or people when they're trying to draw the figure is how to get into the, well proportion of the 9 figure head, or how to divide 9 heads within the figure. I will show you a quick trick how you can do it very easily, and I hope this is going to be, well, useful for the future designers or someone who is trying to make this fashion figure in a proper way. So I will leave a small space around, well, I'm using the paper who is A4 form of the paper, so I will leave maybe 2 centimeters like here from the bottom of this line that I made, if you see it here, so it's here. I will do it this way so you can recognize this spot that I made. So now I have this from here, and what I'm going to do is make it on a half. Well, you can use your fingers. I will use my fingers. I will not use my roller. So basically, this needs to be same as this here. So I will put one more small line here. So now I will divide each of this into the half. So basically I'm using my fingers again. So approximately it's here. We are not chasing the millimeters, people. So it's here and here. So now it's here. And then at the end, each quarter I will divide in two. So basically I'm chasing like, well, now you can use this and try it out. So basically it's, if it's here, you can try to put it here and approximately. As I said, it doesn't have to be like millimeters, but now at least you have a proper 9-head proportion. So I will draw the lines to make it easier for you to understand the proportions. So I will do the horizontal lines like this, like this, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's finishing here, so I will put one line here just to make sure you get where we start. Here, and we finish here. So we have small space here and small space at the bottom. If you want, you can write the numbers just to, you know, make sure when we have each head finishing. So first one is here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And now we start. Before we start, I want to point out the importance of the balance line, because balance line is a vertical line that is going in the middle of the figure. Actually, it's dividing the figure into two. And it's very important to make it properly, because otherwise your figure will be falling left or right and it will not look good. So basically, you will be pulling this line. I'm using the middle of the paper, and so here is that line. I will just put the small arrow so you can see it. And this is the straight vertical line crossing the horizontal lines. Now let's try to do this croquis. Important thing when it comes to the fashion figure, and that I noticed that some of my students are usually making mistakes, is about some inside proportions of the figure. So if you look at the realistic figures, some of the proportion of the realistic figures are actually the same as far as the fashion figure. For example, elbow is going on the waistline. The finish of the hand is finishing about the middle of your upper part of the leg. Also, we will be using not only the height of the head, but also the wide part of the head. So we will be using this proportion and this proportion to make it clear and to make the proportion in a proper way. As I said, some of my students are usually making mistakes when it comes to the, well, this part. How wide are the shoulders? How wide is the waistline? How wide is how wide are the hips. So if you look, well, the shoulders and the hips lines are mostly in the same line. So basically, we will be using the same principles drawing the fashion figure. Also, some of the questions are about how much is the wide part of the waistline. So normally we take proportion of this line that it's here around the ears, and we take the widest part of the head and take it in a proportion of the waistline. If you see that your waistline, well, that the wideness of your waist is a little bit tight, you can put it a little bit wider in like 10% and you will get the exact proportions. So we'll be using this kind of, well, let's say tips for creating the perfect fashion figure croquis. So first I will draw the head. Head is not a circle. Head is more like a ellipse or more like an egg shape. So we are not going to draw like a circle or just a tiny, not wide enough head. So we are going to try to make it like balanced and get some egg shape. So here we go. Try to make it this side and this side to be, let's say, the same as much as you can. I will put, you know, in the middle one line just because it's, you know, easier later on to use it, and you will see for what. Now we are going to find the shoulder line. So basically the shoulder line is coming on a, let's say, 1.5. So it's here, as you can see it. And I will also do the one horizontal line. I se ovo vidi, samo mi recite. So it's here. So here it's 1.5. So it's a shoulder line. How wide are the shoulders? Shoulders are wide as much as the wide is the widest part of the head. I will just put this pink line so that you can, because we will be using this measure a lot. So I will color it like this so that you know that this is the shoulder wide. So here we go. So we'll point here and the same point here. So we have here, you can drive a small circle just to, okay. So now we are chasing where is the neck finishing line. So neck finishing line is about half of this measure. So it's here. If you want, you can, you know, do this just to understand that it's there. Now, many of the students will be asking me, where do the shoulders actually fit? Well, the common mistake that students do is to put it here on the line. And then usually the shoulders look a little bit wide and unproportional. So I actually like to put it a little bit below, like here. How big are the shoulders? Shoulders are usually 1/3 of the head. So basically I draw it. Here you go. Now you can pull a little bit of a neckline and you're already seeing the shoulders. Now, where is the waistline? Waistline is here on 1/3 here. As I said, we will be using the measure of the widest part of the head and we will be putting it on the middle. So basically, well, you can do it, well, two ways actually. You can pull it here and pull it here so you get the waistline. And you can now So now we have this. The hips are finishing on a forehead. So this is the line of the forehead. How wide are the hips? Hips are the wide as the shoulders. So you can just pull it down. Well, if it's easier for you, you can do it like this. Like this. So here are the hips. And you can also put it together. So we have here the hips. Okay, now guys, you're seeing already it's happening. So now we want to find the knees. The knees are on the 6th head and a little bit below. So you can point to the middle of this circle, and what you can do is connect the hips with the legs. Here you go. So now we need to, put the upper leg in a proper proportion, because now the legs look like they're like sticking together. You can leave it this way, but if you want to make a little bit of like correct proportion to make your legs not look like they're sticking together, what you can do is take the middle of the hip and put the straight line here like this. Okay, and then I will show you how you can like make it a little bit separated here, so it doesn't look like it's sticking together all the way down. So now we want to draw the lower part. So the legs are actually, the ankles are finishing on an 8 or 8 1/3. So I will now for the moment put just a little bit below the 8. Here you go, like this. And what you can do now is connect this line with this line. If we want to be correct and make like ankles work and make it in a geometrical way, I would recommend to take 6 and let's say like half of the 6th head, it's here, and make a small shape like this. Like a trapeze. And now you can connect. You can do this. I'm not used to using a ruler, so I will be using it just because of you. So here you go. Okay, and now you can use another trapeze. Okay, now we already have shape. Now we are left with the like hands. Hands you can use like a simple rectangle shapes to form the shapes of the arms. What you need to keep in mind is that the elbows are here. And elbows are smaller than shoulders. So basically that will not be a rectangle, it will be more like a, let's say, trapeze. Okay, and now we want to draw the hands. Hands are finishing here. So on the middle, or like here is the ankle, 4 1/2. here. You can draw this like a straight line to make it easier, or use the ruler. Okay, and now you can use the small ankles to draw small ankles, which are like almost the same as the elbows. You can now, for now, keep it like a rectangle if you want to, if you feel comfortable. And now we have hands. Hands I will draw pretty simple, so I will use like basically 2 triangles like this, one small and one bigger. So here you go. What I'm going to do now is use the little bit of a marker just to like show you how you can outline the figure and not to keep it so robotic. So we have our fashion figure. Even if it stays like this, you can use it, but if you want to make just around it, if you want to, you can add here also a breast. Of course, round the hips a little bit. We don't want to keep it that straight. And we'll go around these lines. It's even now looking more, let's say, natural. You can add even a small triangle here to make it like fingers. Okay, we have ankles here. Okay, here. Here you go, you have your like a croquis that you can use as a template, or you can simply like use it as a principle for drawing the basic fashion figure croquis 9-head proportion. guys, I hope you liked this tutorial. I hope you found it useful. If you like the content and if you like this kind of videos, be sure to subscribe. Please be free to leave your comments and questions below. And I will be seeing you very soon in some of the next videos. Bye!